Good morning to all. Now we see about what is GST, the paper of basics of GST. So, what are the agenda of the GST? Number 1, introduction of GST in India. Next, the road begins of GST. And third one, draft model GST law. And next one, positives and negatives. And territorial and jurisdictions of GST. Taxable event and considerations. Levy and collection of GST. And last one is this agenda, place and time of supply. These all are the covered in first unit. So first introduced about what is GST. So GST is nothing but tax on goods and or services. So now in India introduced GST for elimination of cascading taxations. So GST stands is G for goods, S for service and T for tax. Goods and services tax means any tax on supply of goods or services or both except taxes on the supply of the alcoholic liquor for human consumptions. So that is the meaning of GST. And also the main aim of goods and services tax is to eliminate several layers of tax structure such as purchase tax, value added tax or sales tax. And next, state levels taxes like excise duty, entertainment tax, entry tax, octroi and luxury tax, etc. So now first you should know what is tax system of India before going to GST. So the tax is divided in two types of taxations. One is direct tax and another one is indirect tax. So first we know about the what are the indirect taxes levied by the central government. Number 1, income tax. In the year 1860, the Finance Minister Sir James Wilson introduced income tax in India. Number 2, corporation tax. Number 3, dividend tax. Number 4, capital gains tax. Fifth one, wealth tax. Sixth one, gift tax. Seventh one, estate duty or inheritance tax or death duty. These all are the comes under the direct tax on central tax and direct taxes at state level. So these three are comes under the direct tax at state level. Number 1 is land revenue. Number 2 is agricultural income tax. Number 3, professional tax. These all are the comes under the direct tax. And what is the indirect taxes? So these indirect taxes as various indirect taxes are levied by central government and also the state governments. The following are the most important of them. Number 1, indirect tax levied by central government. Number 2, indirect tax levied by state government. First, what are the central government indirect tax? We will see. Number 1, central excise duty. Number 2, custom duty. Number 3, central sales tax. And last one, service tax. So, indirect taxes levied by state government. So, what is the state government limitations of fixing the taxations is state sales tax, value added tax, state excise duty, entertainment tax, and other indirect taxes. So, states levy tax on motor vehicles, electricity, and also charge a passenger's tax on different modes of passenger transportations. So, what is central excise duty? An excise duty is a tax on goods produced or manufactured with the country, either in the process of their manufacture or before their sale to customers. It is levied on commodities like beverages, sugar, petrol, tobacco, cloth, etc. So these are the central excise duties. And next one is customs duty. Customs duties are taxes imposed on goods as they cross a national boundary. They are levied on goods imported into India from other countries. So these all are the comes under the indirect tax. The examples of indirect tax and direct tax. So what is direct tax? The direct tax is paid tax to directly in government. So that is called as a direct tax. So say for individuals, they are getting salary. So based upon salary, they are paid the salary to government directly. That is called as a direct tax. And second one, indirect tax. Indirect tax levied by one person and burned to other persons. So that tax paid to government indirectly. So one person can pay the tax. So another one person can pay the tax for these persons through indirectly. So that is difference between direct tax and indirect tax. So example of direct tax is a income tax imposed by central government, and GST is indirect tax levied on goods and services. It will replaced by major indirect taxes. So what are the major indirect taxes is already I said what is the indirect tax or central government level and also state level. So once again I will tell what are the major part of the central government indirect tax is, such as excise duty, service tax, customs duty, and central sales tax. So what is the state government level of taxations is value added tax, entertainment tax, and luxury entries. So these all are the major of central government taxations and state government taxations. Now the GST is differentiate based upon the central levied term and state levied term. The central GST replaced by the central excise duty, and sales GST replaced by sales indirect taxations. So these indirect taxes eliminated and newly introduced the goods and service tax. This goods and service tax introduced or with effect from 2017. So what is the background of the Goods and Service Tax Act? Presently, the central government levies tax on manufacture of certain goods in the form of central excise duty, and provisions of certain services in the form of service tax, interstate sale of goods in the form of central sales tax. Similarly, the state governments levy tax on retail sales in the form of value added tax, and entry of goods in the state in the form of entry tax, luxury tax and purchase tax, etc. comes under the goods and service systems. Accordingly, there is multiplicity of taxes which are being levied on the same supply chains. So this multiple tax is converted to a single tax of goods and service tax. So before we are used the tax on tax. So what is tax on tax means? The person paid tax in a various situations and various places. So that is called as a tax on tax. That is multiple tax or many tax. So these all are the eliminated and newly introduced in one systems. What is one tax? So that is the one tax of GST. So before the GST means we identified what are the tax system in India. So these all are the GST and indirect direct tax systems. So now going to features of GST Act 2017. So what are the features is GST means? The Central Goods and Service Tax Act 2017 has the following features. I will tell one by one. To levy tax on all intrastate suppliers of goods or services or both, except supply of alcoholic liquors. The most of the tax covered in all products under the GST, and except the petroleum alcohol is not included the GST. It is apart from GST. Next one, to broad base their input tax credit by making it available in respect of taxes paid on any supply of goods or services, are both used or intended to be used in the course of furtherance of business. So that is one kind of the features. And self-assessment of the taxes payable by the registered persons. So and also we identified who is the registered persons and who is the paying the taxations. So that is very important of GST tax filing systems. So next, conduct of audit of registered persons. So in order to verify compliance with the provisions of the tax. And one more thing is recovery of arrears of tax using various modes including detaining and sale of goods, movable and immovable property of defaulting tax person, powers of inspection, search and seizure and arrest to the officers. So these all are the features of GST. So that goods and service tax is, it is a destination based tax and also called as GST. So GST is also called the what is destinations. So destinations is nothing but where is levied, on which area the consumer used the services or goods. So that is called the destination based tax on consumption of goods and services. It is proposed to be levied at all stages, right from manufacture up to final consumption, with credit of taxes paid at previous stage available as set of the GSTs. Only value additions will be taxed and burden of tax is to be borne by the final consumers. It is called the destination used taxations. And one more thing we do, what exactly is the concept of destination based tax on consumption? The tax would accrue to the taxing authority which has jurisdictions over the place of consumptions. So what is where the place of consumptions, that portions used the GST. So it is called as a destination based GST, which is also termed as place of supply. So major things of what is place of supply. This place of supply is where is the consumption of goods or services. And GST would replace the following taxes. So what are the replace of GST is something new is. So that is tax currently levied and collected by the central government. So already I said what is the direct tax and what are the indirect tax. So these all are the eliminated. Before that introduce the GSTs. So what are the central tax? Already I mentioned the duties of excise, additional duties of excise, textiles and textile products, special additional duties or customs, service tax, central charges and cess so far as the relate to supply of goods and services. And also these all are the comes under the central tax systems. And one more thing is state taxes. So this state value added tax, central sales tax, luxury tax, so etc. So this GST implemented goods and service tax. So it is also called as a dual GST. So that GST is also called as a dual GST. What is dual GST means? We are using what is the model of GST. So involved more than 40 of models. We are used the Canada models. So what is the Canada model means? Dual model. What is the dual model means? The central and state governments levied the tax systems. So not only central government and also state government, both are the government are role played by the fixations of GST. That is called as a dual GST. So what is the exact meaning of dual GST is with the center and state simultaneously levying it on a common tax systems. So this GST divided are three types of GST. One is CGST, second one is SGST or UTGST, and the last one is IGST. So first we identified what the CGST. So the CGST is nothing but central GST. And second one, what is SGST? The SGST is state GST or union territory would be called the UTGST. And third one, IGST. The IGST is integrated or interstate supply of goods and services. So it is called the types of goods. In our government is taking significant to GST and its three types: CGST, SGST, IGST, and also UTGST. So first one is Central Goods and Sales Tax. As per the Central Goods and Service Tax Act 2016, CGST is the centralized part of GST that subsumes the present central taxations and levies. Central sales tax, central excise duty, service tax, excise duty under Medical and Toiletries Preparations Act, additional excise duties, countervailing duties, additional custom duty and other centralized taxations comes under the CGST. And second types of goods and service tax is state goods and service tax. The SGST is an important part of the GST. It stands for State Goods and Service Tax as per the Act is 2016 GST Bill. Various taxations and levies under the state authority are subsumed by SGST as one uniform taxations. It includes the amalgamation of sales tax, luxury tax, entertainment tax, levies on lottery, entry tax. So one state to another state, they enter the vehicles are containing the some of the goods. It is called as a entry tax, and octroi and other taxations related to the movement of commodities and services under state authority through one uniform taxation is called the state GST. And last one is IGST. So what is IGST means? Integrated Goods and Service Tax. So the GST focuses on the concept of one tax and one nations. So that is the main aim of the introduce the GST, one tax in one nations. So all area covered in a single tax systems, not varying in various places. That is the main motive of introducing the GST. The IGST stands for Integrated Goods and Services Tax, which is charged on the supply of commodities and services from one state to another state. So, for example, if the supply of goods and services occurs between Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, or Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, IGST will be applicable because of one state to another state, so dealing of the goods and service systems. So also under Article 269A of the Indian Constitutions, the interstate trade and commerce activities that involve the movement of commodities and services shall be levied with an integrated tax systems under the GST regime. The government of India will collect the revenue under IGST. So further changes can be made by the Goods and Services Tax Council in India. So these are the three parts of GST, or types of GSTs are used, the GST systems. So also one more thing is Union Territory Goods and Service Tax. So what is Union Territory GST means? I already learned about the CGST and SGST, which are intrastate taxations, and IGST, which is interstate. And that is important of UTGST is the union territories in India are accounted under a specialized taxations called Union Territory Goods and Service Tax. As per the GST regime 2016, there followed UTGST. It will subsume the various taxations as levies and duties with one uniform taxations in union territories, as well as Delhi. India's capital of territory is a Delhi. So Delhi is one of the union territories. Number 2, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Daman and Diu, Lakshadweep and Puducherry are the prominent union territory in India. UTGST will account for all the taxations under these union territories in India. The Parliament is looking forward to implement a separate act to impose and service GST in union territories. Under the name of UTGST Act, the bill will be presented in respective union territories for further changes in the implementation of GST. So this type of GST is under the system of GST. What is the types of GST? Number 1 is CGST, that is Central Sales Tax. Number 2 is SGST, State Goods and Service Tax. Also UTGST, Union Territory Goods and Service Tax. And the last one, Integrated Goods and Service Tax, is IGST. So on the GST impact on central government and also state government. So the central government impact is loss on GST revenues, refund under GST, reduced corruption, compensation for loss of revenue to states. So also impact the state government is the destinations principles. So these all are the impact of central sales tax and also state tax. So these all are the very important of introductions and implementation of GST. Okay, thank you.